What's up, guys, and welcome to the I Went to Fashion School podcast with me, Renata Hoga. In this short final episode with Salome, we discuss fashion and faith, and how throughout our design journeys, our faith and desire to pursue fashion have often clashed. Salome also shares a little on her future plans as a graduate. And let's talk about, because you've said a lot about praying, and I guess me and you, we both met at church.
Yes.
Should we drop St. John's? So I think also we really connected on that element of okay, we're going to these big fashion schools, but at the same time, religion and faith and having that relationship with God was important to us as people, and knowing that you were at CSM and I was at LCF and we were both still going to church and all these things, for me it was actually the art industry and the fashion industry is not necessarily what they say it is, because I remember when I was applying, I used to do lots of volunteering with my church and things, and I put that in within my personal statement because that's part of who I am and what I do. And I can remember a tutor being on my foundation, maybe you should take out the church part and just, because they might not receive it that well. And I was just a bit what? Because religion is a sensitive topic, it's quite controversial. And I was just oh, okay. And it wasn't the first time that I heard that, be careful when you talk about religion within art settings, because it is, I understand it is a very, it's very political subject, but also it's very touchy for some people, and I understand that there are wounds and things like that. So I was do I really want to do fashion?
Though, if you've been a leader in a church, that is a thing you've done, though, that is shows you can lead people.
Exactly.
So I mean, why would you not put that in?
Exactly. So, and why who would? But at the same time, I understand. But at the same time, I'm just a bit But that really made me be because I was okay, faith is a part of my identity, and fashion is also the thing that I'm learning and wanting to go into as an industry, and as a practitioner I want to do fashion. I was I felt that conflict within myself, because it was almost will I be rejected when I go into especially London, and when I go to London and I practice my faith, and then I wanted to still be a fashion designer. But actually, when we spoke and you spoke about doing your Jesus dress, your Jesus jacket, I was whoa, she brought Jesus to the course, what? And she's at CSM, the biggest, art, very innovative, very, bold out there in the messages that the designers and people that go to CSM have are very, strong. So I was how did you, navigate that to be I'm going to talk about Jesus in my projects?
Yeah, so the Jesus suit, that was not actually part of a project. That one was just I made, because since we did not have a lot of technical things, throughout my my Christmas breaks and all that, I tried to make technical garments.
Oh, okay.
And I had seen this fabric, and I was yeah, I want this. But I've had projects, even when I applied, I spoke of a project that was based from Bible experiences, really. And I mean, I feel every time you speak about a project, it's so personal anyways.
Yeah.
So it's it always makes you feel naked, whatever it's about, because it's gonna be something that touches your heart, and then it's gonna be very personal.
Yeah.
So I just feel when I add in, or when faith, I feel I never really choose what I make my projects about, really, because they just the projects really come to me.
Yeah.
But I feel once I've made projects that are faith based, obviously it can be a bit harder to speak about, because most people will not have the same opinion as you do, and the same view as you do, so it will be more harder. But I feel it's already hard to speak about your projects anyways,
especially because they're so personal.
Exactly. Plus I think it helps, because I come from a really small town in southern part of Sweden, where it's I think that country has been categorized as the place in Sweden with least Christians in the whole of Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's I was a kid, and I was like the only child that was Christian in my school. Like, do you know what I mean? So like I'm used to being the only one.
Yeah.
And I'm used to people making fun of me because
Okay.
you know I have my faith and stuff. So I think I was well prepared. Really,
You only had like a hard shell to be like, whatever you've got, bring it.
Yeah. But obviously, like it's been difficult on and off. But I mean, I guess it's how deep you talk about it as well. Because I mean, spiritual experiences maybe isn't something I talk that much about in front of like the group of my club. Maybe I could, but like then it needs to feel like spirit led as well. Like I'm supposed to do. I don't want to like push it on there if it's not meant to be. But like if I feel like I'm supposed to, I will.
Yeah. What you will talk about.
Yeah,
the
whatever.
Inspiration that came with it.
Whatever that.
No,
comes.
I think that's important because you want to speak. You want your collections to be authentic. You want whatever you produce to be genuine. You don't want it to sound, phony and fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, for me, like, I like what you were saying about that woman telling you not to have church and stuff. I've even had like similar experience from the other point, like really like Christians telling me you can't do fashion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've had that too.
Yeah. Because I went to this Christian conference before I studied fashion, and I went to a seminar, and it was about future and stuff, and I was telling her, I want to do fashion, and she told me, like, she was like referencing this Matthew, like I think it's Matthew 6:28 or something, where it says like, consider the lilies of the fields, and they don't spin and they don't toil, but still they're dressed more beautifully than Salome himself. And she was like referencing this, being like, there is no point making fashion. Do you know what I mean? Like we should not like bother about clothes. Like they tell us we shouldn't bother about clothes. But I felt like that was just such a simplification of the Bible. Do you know what I mean? Like, because what the Bible verse is also telling us is that God cares about beauty and creativity, and He dresses even the lilies of the fields more beautiful than we can dress Solomon. Do you know what I mean? So like He's so visual, and we can't like neglect the fact that we're very like it has such a huge effect on us, like beauty and aesthetics
and apparel. 100%, because there's so many different places in the Bible where there's fashion design. Because there's like Jacob who gives Joseph a robe, the multicolored jacket. There's like loads of like Broadway shows on that story, but that is an exchange. That's a relationship of a father and a son that involves a garment.
100%.
Fashion. And then you also have like Adam and Eve, God clothes them. So it's quite hard for me, like, having received all the like, oh, don't do fashion, it's not, all of this, but actually when you actually read the Bible for yourself, there are garments in
You've
that,
not
like,
read it.
You've not read it.
Because it's like, even with the temples, like it's so specific, like it's not random, like, oh, just build something.
No,
it's like very
every
specific
detail.
Like it's so specific. So it's like God really cares about aesthetics.
Exactly.
He's a nerd. Aesthetic nerd.
Exactly. And I think that goes on to like my next question, in the idea of like overcoming that idea that fashion and faith can't mix, because it does. It can mix.
It does.
And it mixes even in terms of like in Muslim culture, where people wear like the burqa and the baya and the hijabs and all those things, that it's still fashion. It's fashion as a function, because it's helping to kind of keep their modesty and their privacy as women and all of those things. But religion and faith, religion and fashion are coming together. So that is really hard that there is that conflict and that tension, because there's already a relationship there.
I think it's just because people think, because you focus on surface, you don't have a depth. Whereas that is not true. Because sometimes I feel like we all have to wear clothes. Right? Like, and whether you focus on it looking good or not, like, then maybe you're focusing on not caring, but then you're also we do have naturally a relationship to garments. Then obviously, like, it's about from which perspective you look at things. If you just, I mean, someone could be even more, someone that does not like tell you they don't care about aesthetics, they don't care about clothes, could be more judgmental in like their eyes of looking at people wearing clothes than someone that like enjoys dressing up, or do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to do about that. It has to do about your focus. Like your main focus is Jesus, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And so so the Jesus jacket. So you found the fabric and you wanted to make a jacket of it. How did you then connect the fabric of the jacket with Jesus?
So it was this shop in Shepherd's Bush that this was in first year, and I had been seeing this Jesus fabric, and I just thought it was so nice because it said sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus, sweet Jesus.
Okay.
And you know, it was just funny because I feel like some people will have this idea of Christians being quite like strict about things, and so I thought like making a quite like strict but cool suit was quite a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas holiday was coming up, so I had some spare time, and I was like, let's make a suit. And I had some diamonds.
Nice.
For buttons.
Lots of bling.
So it was just, I wanted it to be like a bit like big lapels and stuff.
So it was a jacket with a trouser kind of combo.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Gonna definitely put a link to that.
Yes.
So everybody can see it.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to share like your plans or...
Yeah, I don't feel like I have... It's very loose. My plans, I think, are very like in the making still. What I know is the fashion industry is too much of a business for me to enjoy being part of something big, I think. And also like, I mean, during this pandemic, I've been thinking a lot about like, what am I doing? Like, you know, even just like from a sustainable point of view, because I feel like it's so like we don't really need more brands. But then I just can't not make. So it's like I have to make. So it's like slowly finding a sustainable way of making that makes sense and that reflects something, and you know, it's sustainable on so many levels as well. Like not only like production wise, but like in terms of, you know, I'm very interested in like looking at techniques or garments that have existed that are like almost forgotten, and like taking these ideas, you know, or these techniques and you know, interpreting them, like carrying them forward, like creating interest for made things again. Because I feel like we still need people that tell stories, you know, and people still need to wear garments. And I feel like the connection between the wearer and the garment needs to be like restored.
And I think going back to what you said about the business thing, is a lot of businesses, it's just about pushing forward and being better and growing. But what you've just described is more about almost your whole fashion process as a designer. It's about being like investigating what has gone, what's to come, and what's here. It's not just about pushing the new. It's about, okay, how can I experience the process as a fashion designer rather than just creating a product.
Yeah, something I like that Lotta Levenhaupt, she like studies like she's written books about like underwear and stuff, and she's really interesting. She said something about like, in order to know the future, you need to know the past.
Yeah.
I think that is so good.
So true. That's exciting, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds really good.
But so many times, you know, I've just felt, why am I even doing this? Is it not better that I'm just like on the ground helping people? There are so many people that actually need help, and you know, like just working to feed people, or like help in areas where it needs help. But you know what I mean? But then it's like, I feel like I was made to create, and even if I think of myself doing something else, I feel like if I'm gonna be the best I can be, I think I need to create. And that is also like a space where I connect most with God, and it's such a natural place for me to engage in Him and His plans for my life. And I feel like, you know, if you just follow God's way for your life, it's gonna be fruitful anyways, even if you can't see it, because sometimes we think so narrowly that we can't see like what's coming later on, you know. We looked in this zoomed in spot and we can't see like the full picture. Whereas like I might be working on something here and it feels quite pointless, but if it's God's plan, you know, it's gonna be fruitful in the end.
I heard a saying that's like, we work in part but God works in full. And I think you just saying that you feel that you have to create, like, just do that part and just believe that, you know, it's gonna do greater things, and you're gonna reach out to other things and other people and the other problems that you just talked about, like hunger and poverty and sustainability and all these things, that, you know, you doing that little part is gonna help. You doing your little part as best as you can is gonna help, like, the bigger cycle, because you know, we will tire ourselves out being like, my life is going to be dedicated to ending hunger, and it's like it's so complex. It's not just about you know what I mean. And I mean, I
by
credit
creating
people.
You might be
like, exactly.
You never know.
And it's great that people do that, and I, you know, applaud them, and they're doing great things. But also we have to, you know, think about the parts that we can contribute to and do it well.
Because I mean, it's like, you know, as it says about like the body of Christ, we're different limbs, and if we don't do our bit, then if we're somewhere else doing something that we were not actually made to do, then, you know, the body's not going to work anyways.
So do your fashion part. Good. The end. Bye.
The end. Bye. Arrivederci.
Yes.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. So it's been great talking to you.
Yes, you too. It's always interesting. A pleasure.
Yes.